Good morning, Burl here, Life Lessons with Burl, and today is a little bit different. I just want to tell you a story. I'm doing a doctoral degree, and so part of my research is in Black history. And I know I'm a white guy studying Black history, but one of the stories that comes up that I read in a book a couple of years ago, but I was writing about it, so I was thinking about it, is the story of Isaac Woodard. There's a great book. It's called Unexampled Courage. I highly recommend that you read it. It does not read like a boring history book. This is a page-turning novel. The sad truth of it is that every bit of it is true history. It's not someone's work of fiction. So the story of Isaac Woodard, what happened was that in 1946, he had just been discharged from the military. Honorably, he was still in uniform riding the bus home. He left Atlanta and was cruising across Georgia and through South Carolina. And when he got to about Batesville, he said to the bus driver, "Hey, can we stop? I need to use the restroom." Not a crazy request in my opinion, but the bus driver was quite offended that this black man would want him to stop. And so in the process of their conversation, he responded to Woodard by calling him boy. That term is kind of out of use at this point, but it was a derogatory term for black men in that time. I don't know any man that wants to be called boy. And so Woodard's response was completely intelligible. These words went on to become somewhat famous in his time, but he said, "I'm a man just like you." And those simple words, "I'm a man just like you," enraged the white bus driver. And so when he stopped in Batesville, he called for the local law. And so the officer came down, dragged Woodard off the bus, and proceeded to beat him with a billy club until he was blind. He put him in jail with no medical attention. In the morning, he forced him to sign some papers that he couldn't see, so he couldn't read. And when Woodard finally got home, he got medical attention, and it was too late. He might have been able to be saved had he been given medical attention quickly, but this was not the case. He was blind for the rest of his life. There was a court case, and the NAACP got involved. The case was argued before a Judge Waring. Okay, now, in Waring's defense, he was the judge. He was white. He was the judge in Charleston, South Carolina. But really the problem here was not the judge, it was the jury. Waring truly went on to become a great civil rights activist judge. He helped a lot of black people in the South, so I don't want to disparage his name, even though he was the judge in this case. But the jury was an all-white jury. They only deliberated for 15 minutes before they came back and said that Officer Schull, who was the police chief who had beaten him, was not guilty. Now, the story doesn't end there. It ends in the legal battle, but Woodard went on to be a speaker nationally. He toured around and shared his story. Now, Orson Welles, you may have heard of him. He was a popular radio show person of the 40s and 50s. He found out about this Woodard case and began to talk about it. He began to investigate it, and he made sure everyone knew Schull's name, did things like that. And so the president, Harry Truman, because of Orson Welles, then ended up passing, I need to look this up, but he created a special committee to investigate race relations and the conditions, especially in the South. And the committee report was called "To Secure These Rights." All right. Now, this committee report is cited by many as really the beginning of the civil rights era to change Jim Crow laws and all of that. And I don't want to get into the whole dissertation at this point. This is a quick video that's going too long already. But the story of Isaac Woodard is one that should be remembered, should be taught in school, and is not a happy part, but a very real part of American history. All right? Well, usually I end my videos by saying, I hope this helps. But I don't know if it helps. But maybe you know something more now that you didn't know before. And have whatever kind of day you're going to have. Because after a story like that, saying have a great day doesn't sound so good either.